Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
Back again with another one.
We back, good brother, and it was a busy NFL Week 9, man. It was a good one, a lot of good matchups. Cowboys folded again. Had bad clock management again. That black cat still running around that organization. Eagles get another dub. Keep winning. Despite turnovers, despite some sloppy play, but they 8-1, best record in the league. So that was a good game.
Speaking of, top of the division, and give a shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins. Set an alarm clock for that game for me to just watch a whole bunch of just trash out there on the field from our prop guys out there who got a real banged up, right? But the Dolphins, I think, they're not as, I don't think they can beat those, and we've seen that the past 2 weeks. I don't think they can beat those top caliber teams yet, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, they've been struggling. Also, the Bills have been struggling, though, so that helps the Dolphins out. But you know who hasn't been struggling? You know who's rattled off 4 in a row after the calf started to get healthy?
Here we go.
You know who's 5-1 versus Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? You know who's been in the back-to-back AFC Championship games and is about to go again?
Where's my jacket at? Because it's getting a little bit cold
I'm
in here.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on for that one.
And we do got we had a rookie sensation this week too. CJ Stroud.
Sensation is the right word.
Yards.
He's
and
him.
The Texans is 4-4, man.
He's him.
And they beat my Bucks.
He's him.
What the fuck?
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, and you said it Jason Jack. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Bro, yeah, CJ Stroud is him. Texans found their franchise quarterback. But before we talk about CJ Stroud and that historic performance, we got to start with this Cowboys-Eagles game, bro. I thought it was the most anticipated game of Week 9. Every time the Cowboys and the Eagles play, it's a matchup, right? It's like must-watch TV. They always play well. It's usually not a lot of blowouts. It's usually high-scoring, usually physical. And we got to see the Cowboys. This was a big game for both teams, right? Because the Eagles wanted to get that 2-game advantage in the division, right? Go before the bye, feeling confident. And the Cowboys wanted to go in, play spoiler. Already having lost to the 49ers, they didn't want to drop to the Niners and the Eagles because that's the class of the NFC, right? The Niners and the Eagles. So it's like you lose to both of them, now you lose that tiebreaker. Now I'm gonna let you get your thoughts on the game, bro. But a few things. I thought Dak, from a high-level view, played really well. Kept them in the game. A lot of quarterbacks been able to expose this Philadelphia secondary, right? Like Sam Howell threw for like 380 and 4 touchdowns the week prior, right? So Dak came in. I thought he did what he was supposed to do. He threw for like 340, 3 touchdowns. But I think what separates quarterbacks and why Dak fails to reach that tier 1, or in some people's eyes even tier 2, is because, like I just said, Sam Howell put up those numbers, right? But what separates you from Sam Howell? It needs to be those plays where the game is on the line. You can't step out of bounds on a 2-point conversion. You have to convert that.
Fucks up at when it's
that
like
every time clock management.
Down.
Yes, and I think that's what keeps Dak and the Cowboys out of entering that top tier. And on the flip side, you got the Eagles who strive in those moments, right? Especially at home. That Philly, what they calling it, the tush push, the brotherly shove, that play is a cheat code, bro. Nobody's
hold on. Before you even call it a cheat code, I actually took Jalen Hurts to score. Not the week that just passed, but the week prior. They did the tush push, and he fumbles bro. Since
you was,
when?
I know you was like, only because I bet it. You was like, only because I bet it.
Only because I took it. Sorry, Philadelphia fans. That fumble was because of me. FanDuel knew that I put that bet in.
Nah, that's a highly successful play, man. They probably got the best offensive line in the league. But the Eagles been handling their business, right? Like I forget, I was talking to an Eagles fan, and I was telling them that and I think it's obvious to say they're not the Eagles of last year, where it was
At
like,
all.
yo,
You can
they
tell.
punching on everybody. But the good thing is, you can still get back to that. Oh, and it's great that we're 8-1 and we're not the team we were last year. Because if they do, strike that match, then it's like, home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is important because I think coming to Philly is hard for every team in NFC. If the NFC has to run through Philadelphia, bro, there's a high chance. It's probably like a 73% chance the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl. Like, I think it's hard to beat teams in Philly with this atmosphere, this crowd. But the schedule gets tough because they come off this bye. They got to go to Kansas City. Then they got to play Buffalo, right? And I know we're going to get to them, and they haven't been looking like a powerhouse. But Josh Allen is inconsistent, but it could be the week that he's Superman.
Yeah, it's no in between with them, and we're going to get to that. It's
Yes,
shit up here
absolutely.
or down here.
Yep. So they could get Superman Josh Allen. And then they get San Fran, who's looking for some type of revenge from the NFC Championship game. And I think San Fran will turn it around. And we'll get to them as well. And then they got Dallas in Dallas again, who just played them well. So that's a tough 4-game stretch for the Eagles. If they go 2-2, that puts them at 3 losses. And San Fran beats them, that they could possibly lose home field advantage. But on the other side, I think Dallas. I don't know, bro. They're so.
I think they're
talented.
From what I see, you go out and you get Brandon Cooks, and I know recently his play has kind of picked up, and I think since the ass whipping that the Niners gave the Cowboys, I think they've kind of got their shit together. I know they just lost to the Eagles, but I think they're 2-1 since then. Maybe 1-1.
Yeah, they smacked the Rams. They beat somebody else, I think, before that. Yeah. But I know they smacked the Rams at home. They won their last 11 home games. Also, Dallas.
So they picked up things as of late, but I also think that they need to do a better job of like incorporating more of their guys, like AKA Tony Pollard. Like, this is a guy that's supposed to be your guy. Tony Pollard hasn't scored a touchdown since September 10th, which was the season opener. And I just doesn't get how a guy that, carries that type of workload for this team, how he hasn't, got into the end zone. This all betting bias aside, I just feel as though as the running back of this team, he needs to be involved more. Yeah, this must be something I'm missing there. But on the Eagles side of things, I'm going to always say this too. I want to chime in on what you was talking about earlier, but I know their schedules get tougher, but I also think for them to be 8-1, or they're 7-1, right?
8-1.
For them to be 8-1 and they still don't look like the team of last year, and they still haven't got things rolling. That's a big blessing.
Great place to be.
So just can you imagine how much scarier this team would be once they finally get things clicking on both sides of the ball?
Yep.
AKA Jalen Hurts, can you pass Devontae Smith the fucking ball more?
that's betting peach. That's prop peach right there. Nah, bro. But before we switch, because I want to kind of talk about the 49ers for a little bit and stay on the NFC. Before we switch, Jalen Hurts looks like he's banged up. Right. So they lose Dallas Goedert for 4 weeks. He goes on IR. I think he had a forearm injury in that Dallas game that kind of set him back. So they're going to be without him for 4 weeks. And Jalen Hurts apparently had a brace on his leg. Looked like he, re-injured it or aggravated it during the game. But one thing you love about Jalen Hurts is his toughness. I think that's unmatched. I always talk about intangibles with these quarterbacks.
Time out real quick, bro. Yo, I'm sorry.
You got something funny to say.
You gotta, because my laptop is
about to die.
I'm on 2%, so you're gonna have to close out. I'm about to run right downstairs real quick.
Hurry up. This boy. I thought you was gonna be like, I gotta take a shit, bro.
Nigga thought I had to doodle.
Yeah. I was about to be like, bro, you are in the way.
All right, let's get it, bro.
All right. Let me
I said,
figure
damn,
out.
I was like, bro, about to go in. Let me catch him right when he paused.
Yeah. Let me figure out where
Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
Jalen Hurts. And then
All right,
intangibles that.
yeah. One thing I want to talk about the Eagles, bro. Before we switch, is I want to talk about San Fran a little bit. Jalen Hurts' toughness is unmatched. You know, like I think he's perfect for Philadelphia, right? Like I used to always get on Philly Eagles fans about Carson Wentz because they, you know, and I know he had that great 1 year, but they was so into Carson Wentz, and I just thought he wasn't built for Philly, and that's not even as an Eagles fans, right? You see the athletic figures that succeed in Philly, Allen Iverson, Mike Vick when he was here, you know. Dr. J. You got to have some type of edge, I think, to be able to succeed and be liked because you got to deal with a lot in Philly. You know, you can. I remember year one.
Even Brian Dawkins. Sorry, got
Even Brian. Oh yeah,
Dawkins,
absolutely.
shit.
But I remember year one when Nick Sirianni was here. I turned on like Philly radio on my way to work, and it was like, he needs to be fired. I'm like, it's year one, relax. And he ended up, you know, taking them back to the Super Bowl where they were at. But keeping this on Jalen Hurts, I know he aggravated the calf or the knee or something, and that's a lot. We talk about those tush pushes, those Philly, the brotherly shoves. It's a lot, man. He's a big man, but we seen that a lot with Cam Newton when you just taking hits and stuff like that. So hopefully he stays healthy, right? We don't want to see him get hurt, and if he stays healthy, this team could get right back to where they were last year. I just wanted to touch on that and give him his props, though, because he came back in that game after I thought maybe Marcus Mariota would have came in because it looked like it wasn't a pretty shot. It looked like his knee went inward. So that was scary. But NFC, the 49ers, bro. We spoke about this, right? When the Dolphins put up 70 against the Broncos, the sky was falling for the Bengals, which we'll talk about. I kept trying to emphasize, relax. It's a very long season. A lot of your average basic fan is going to look at records, look at what happened this week, and judge the entire season off of that. When sometimes it's like, we talked about maybe this is good for certain teams, getting punched in the mouth and things like that. And I say all of this to say the 49ers will be fine. The 49ers will be in the NFC Championship game. I would put my money on that. If that's plus money, I'll put my money on that tomorrow. I think the 49ers team, to add Chase Young, which is...
Fucking just, like, who else do you need on that defensive line?
They add Chase Young.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the defense is going to figure it out.
And once Debo
what has it been? Seven
get back,
games.
get healthy, like they're a little
Debo back.
up.
Trent Williams at the left tackle. Brock Purdy will come down. Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. None of that has changed. They'll be fine, and they'll be right back into the running. So I just wanted to say that because I know a lot of people are looking at San Fran like maybe they're not this big dog. They're still, it's them and the Eagles. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think we're going to see that when they come to Philly to play the Eagles. I think San Fran will be healthy, and we'll be ready for that game. It's a little sneak preview.
That's going to be a nice little showdown out there, man.
Absolutely.
Way to shout them out coming off a bye, too. San Fran fans probably hype right now.
I like them against Jacksonville next week, too. I know that's a tough game going to Jacksonville.
Is looking very good. Bro, this Jacksonville team, bro, they're very young, bro. And for them to be where they're at.
Well, they got a really good, really talented quarterback, and they have a Super Bowl coach. There's not a lot of teams that have a coach that won a Super Bowl. Doug Peterson, bought Philly their first, speaking of Philly, their first Super Bowl. So, they doing their thing, but I like the 49ers in that one. But I know you want to talk about this Chiefs-Dolphins game that you woke up, had a cup of coffee for.
An alarm clock for this game to get up, and I wanted to see some action. The flow of it, I felt like the Dolphins started very slow, and they kind of picked up momentum in that third quarter a little bit. Chiefs kind of regressed. I felt like both teams didn't put together 2 complete games.
Completely.
So it's like sorry, my daughter just popped in the room for viewers out there. Yeah, my recorders out there. But when it's when I'm looking at both of the games and I'm like, the Dolphins aren't there yet. They're not in that category with the Bengals, that category with the Chiefs, that category with the Eagles. I don't think they, with the weapons and everything that they have on paper, why is this team not? I'm expecting them to be leading in the division. 1 or 2 losses on the schedule already. I don't think they've been on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, I know they were just now getting Xavier Howard back and Jalen Ramsey, but when are we gonna start taking this Dolphins team seriously? And not after a 70-point win over who was that against?
The Broncos. Bro, so the three winning teams that they've played, teams with winning records, was the Bills, who beat them 48-20, the Eagles, who beat them 31-17, and then this Chiefs game that they just lost. So they lost to 3 playoff teams, right? And this is my analogy for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are that 7th grader that's failed 4th grade 3 times in a row.
Right.
Bro, they're that big ass 4th grader that's picking on all the 4th graders. But then the teacher like, you spending the day with the 7th graders today. And now he don't want no smoke. now he not a bully. Now he cool with everybody. That's the Dolphins, bro. I heard Colin Cowherd called them fake Gucci loafers. From afar, they look nice until you get up on them and see that they actually fake. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Dolphins are a talented team. They have a lot of their coach is offensive genius. I do like the way he schemes up the players, right? They have a lot of speed. But when you play these teams that have been there, have saw a lot, and that has confidence, that is not afraid of that, and that can score with you, the narrative changes. Now, granted, I do want to say one thing. They haven't had to play these top teams in Miami. They haven't got a chance to play them home. They played the Eagles in Philly, Buffalo in Buffalo, and the Chiefs in Germany. That's why, and I said this when we had Bob on, and he gave his Super Bowl prediction. That's why I said they need that 1 seed. I'm afraid of them playing on the road in the cold in January, and in January when it gets cold out. So that's my problem with the Dolphins. I don't think they're ready this year.
I definitely agree with you, bro. We need a little bit more. I think these next 2 to 3 weeks is big, especially with you getting both your top cornerbacks back. Hopefully they can pick up some momentum, change some of the minds and stuff. But switching over to we're not really switching. We're staying in the division. These Bills, man, I'm waiting for a consistent stretch. It's like 1 week we're like, oh, Bills is back. And then it's like, is this the Bills, man? What the hell is going on? So, I don't know. What do you see, man? What do you see out there when you see this team?
I see a very inconsistent team, bro. I see a team that isn't really all that talented. If we're being completely honest, I know they're dealing with some injuries. Did you just pour orange juice in the middle of my Bills sink?
I'm trying to be low, my bad.
Nah, but I feel like they're an inconsistent squad, bro. I feel like they're not that talented on the offensive end. I know they've been dealing with some injuries on the defensive end, but we talk about it all the time. And I've compared Josh Allen to Brett Favre. I think it's very boom or bust. I've been saying this, and it pissed me off, but I'm not here to rag on Josh Allen or the Bills. But it pissed me off for a while because Josh Allen just kept getting put in this light where it was just like him and Mahomes. And I know, they match up really well.
Coming from a Bengals fan, he's mad that it wasn't.
No.
Bro, look.
No, because it was always Mahomes and Burrow. I just thought, I think Josh Allen he's either going to be Superman, and a lot of this could be coaching, right? Because they're not putting him in the right plays. They're not scheming him up so where he doesn't have to do those things. They have no running game, right? they only have Stephon Diggs. They've been trying to get Dalton Kincaid into the mix these past couple of weeks, but Gabe Davis is out on him. They need another weapon to get next to Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
I was saying that
he's
as
not
well.
doing enough, and they're not putting. I feel like they're not putting Gabe in position. It's like if he's not catching a fucking 60-yard post,
Bomb. But that's the thing, though, Josh. But that's the thing, though, bro. They fall in love with that big play, so everything becomes the big play. They're very impatient offense. Josh Allen wants to take off and run, or he wants to throw a bomb down the field. And when you play against good teams, right, they can blow out the Commanders and the Raiders. But when you start playing against quality competition or teams in your division, i.e. the Jets and the Patriots who know how you play, it becomes tougher, bro. And then on the defensive end, they lose Matt Milano, who I really like. They lose Tre'Davious White for the year. And Von Miller looks like a shell of himself.
Yes,
so,
he does.
And then you don't have no pass rush outside of that. So, Buffalo is in danger of missing the playoffs there, I say.
Does Stephon Diggs leave next year?
Maybe. And then we had that in the beginning of the year, right? Their defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, just took a leave of absence. Like, he just said, I'm going to bounce for a little bit after last year. You know, it raises questions.
Can I ask you something? Did they peak already, bro? Oh, you can't really say that when you have a talent. Like, as much as Josh Allen has his flaws, he's still a top 5 quarterback.
Absolutely.
In the league. So
I agree.
With having him under center, it's not necessarily like, you know, they're backtracking. You can still put the pieces around him.
Absolutely.
But
his Super Bowl window hasn't closed. He can still take another level, right? Josh Allen, you have your franchise quarterback. They can still win the Super Bowl with Josh Allen. But the way the team is currently constructed, with the head coach, from coaching staff to players, yes, they've peaked. This iteration of Josh Allen in this Bills has peaked, right? So they're going to have to remix some things, right? It's not a rebuild because you got your star quarterback. That's really, you know, enough to keep you afloat until you get some new pieces. You got to hit in the draft, get some free agents. Guys are going to want to come play with Josh Allen. So this, you know, for these next couple years, they'll figure their way back out. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them back there once they figure out some things, get a running game. Maybe it's time to move off of Sean McDermott. I don't think defensive coaches are the way to go in this NFL.
But they got to get another dynamic.
What made you say that about the Bills? What made you bring the Bills up? What happened this past?
I mean, I expected. I'm not saying that I thought they was gonna beat the Bengals. But I was expecting a little bit of. I know y'all rolling. Y'all do it every year, bro. I wasn't completely rolled off on y'all. You know, I was tugging your leg a little bit, but y'all always lose the first couple games, send the world into panic, and then y'all start.
You did say that. You did.
Start going crazy, man. So now y'all are on fire. But in that game, bro, I just expected more of a tit for tat. It seemed like that in the beginning a little bit, and then it just started getting away from the Bills. And I felt like you guys, I didn't exactly, you know, finish watching that game. I probably stopped watching in the second quarter. What did you see? Because I know you was all over that game. What did you see as far as what the Bills were lacking, and what do you see that what has flipped outside of Joe Burrow and the calf? What has flipped for your Bengals?
So for one, I'm just going to talk on the Bills-Bengals matchup. It's a bad matchup for the Bills, bro. I think the Bengals match up so well with the Bills and the Chiefs. And if anybody watched that Netflix documentary, Quarterback, Patrick Mahomes said it. Patrick Mahomes said, we match up better with the Bills, but I want to play the Bengals because I haven't beat them yet. When they was asking him about the AFC Championship game. And I think the Bengals match up with the Bills and the Chiefs. Like, they're formulated to beat those teams where, and they can, like, slow them down. Whereas the Bills and the Chiefs gives you that fireworks. And I think that's what people just wanted to see, the fireworks. But when the Bengals play the Chiefs or the Bills, it's usually not crazy fireworks. You usually see 27-24, 24-18, 27-10. But I didn't think it was going to be a back-and-forth game for that reason. I think we match up with the Bills so well. We beat them in their home 27-10. And then the Damar Hamlin game last year, the Bengals looked like they was going to smoke them that game before that, horrific incident happened on the field. But they was rolling. We were rolling. So I think it's a bad matchup for Buffalo in general. But what has switched for the Bengals? I know you said we know it's the calf, bro, but it's that simple. Bro, I promise it is that simple, bro. Joe Burrow can move. We've seen the plays he's been making. The numbers, this is no stats, so I'm not going to dig into all the numbers and passer ratings, but he's thrown 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Since on his 4-game winning streak, he's leading the league in touchdowns or tied for the most. Leading the league in completion percentage when he was last. And like the statistics are drastic, right? And it shows to that calf. And then when you get a healthy Joe Burrow, the offensive line feels confident. We don't have to block a statue where he can't move. The running backs feel confident. The receivers like, oh, I got my guy back. He can move. I can scramble, get open. I don't got to get open in 2 seconds before he gets sacked. The defense isn't on the field as much. The defense also has a confidence. We just got to get the ball back to Joe Burrow. I was listening to Mike Hilton and DJ Reader, and they like when Mike Hilton was in the post game in the Sunday Night Football, and they was asking him like, what drives this Bengals defense? And he talked about the players that they have, but he was like, number 9 on the other side. He was like, when you got a quarterback that's confident and he clicking, and we know all we got to do is get him the ball back, and he got us. It's a trickle effect, bro. The Bengals organization, this team is fueled by number 9. It's fueled by number 9, bro. And he back. He back. And
he back. He back.
He's scared. Last note on the Bengals. Last note on the Bengals. Dave Portnoy, owner of Barstool. You familiar with him?
I'm putting a
Barstool.
On. Yeah.
Barstool. All right. So their owner, and I seen this today, so I gotta, and I posted it on my story.
This guy is the Celtics fan, the big Celtics fan.
Yeah,
right? Hates LeBron?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
All right.
He put $67,000 today on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl for $1 million. And then he also put $15,000 to win. Maybe I'm screwing these numbers up, so don't quote me. $15,000 to win $550,000. That the matchup is going to be. No. That the matchup is going to be Bengals beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So those was his 2 bets, and he was like,
Eagles back-to-back losses in a bowl. That's going to be crazy.
That's his prediction. But I agree that right now, bro, I think we playing phenomenal. The other team that's playing phenomenal is the Baltimore Ravens.
I was just about to say, before we close out, we got to talk about them Ravens because they rolling right now, man.
Oh
just from all cylinders. They can bang you on the ground with the dynamic attack of Lamar, and Dobbins is out still, though.
Dobbins is out. They got Gus Edwards. And then they just had Keontae Mitchell, who came out of nowhere and just – they rushed for 300 yards on Seattle, bro. And then the week before, they blew Detroit out. One thing I noticed, bro – go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
No, you good. I was just gonna say, in that game, like you see how balanced the attack is. They can put fucking 200 yards on you on the ground, and then Lamar's now been looking phenomenal passing through the air with the dynamic weapons that he has. And you got that safety blanket and Mark Andrews, and then you still got Bateman, you got Zay Flowers. You still, if once Odell
played okay,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Once you get it rolling, it's like Lamar setting the table the right way. Like it's so good.
And they're coached really, really well, right? Harbaugh, the Baltimore Ravens are always, Tyler Huntley. They got to the playoffs with Tyler Huntley, and Tyler Huntley's not a bad quarterback. He actually got in and threw that touchdown to Odell. But I'll be honest, I think the Bengals are playing the second best football in the NFL these past 4 weeks. I think the Ravens look like the best team right now on both sides of the ball. They're shutting teams down. I think a lot of that is, I heard, and I'm gonna, from a professionalism standpoint, Colin Cowherd is one of my favorite because I think it's tough to, like, we talk to each other. I'm gonna give him a little quick 13 seconds, but to be there and just talk for 3 hours and run off takes just to the camera, I feel like that's tough to do. But he mentioned the Ravens, right? And Lamar Jackson is 17-1 against NFC teams. 17-1 in his career. But he said, if you're a team that's never played Lamar Jackson before, it's something it's foreign. Like you You don't play that typical. You don't play that player typically, right? That's why the Steelers beat him, right? Even when Joe Burrow had a gimpy calf, they beat us by 3. When the Browns blew us out, the Titans blew us out. For some reason, that Ravens games were close, right? Because you're familiar with those. They play the Browns this week. I guarantee the game's going to be close. Take the Browns +6. Because they're just familiar with him, right? So I think that also accounts to them blowing out the Lions and the Seahawks. But this Baltimore team is rolling. They rolling, bro.
It'd be interested to see, man, what is basically at the halfway mark. It'd be interested to see now these next couple weeks how things finish out. And man, I feel like it's a lot of teams that could be in that Super Bowl picture, bro. And a lot of like dark horse that could like knock off somebody that a couple teams that you don't really want to see when you get into them rounds. So we'll say that for the playoff picture.
Yeah, we'll say that. And I'm gonna let Baltimore have their flowers right now. I was gonna throw out a take, but I'm gonna let them have their flowers right now. I won't get into that. Let's finish off quickly with C.J. Stroud and Joshua Dobbs. C.J. Stroud threw for 470, 46-yard drive to win the game, 5 touchdowns, rookie records, not looking like. Sensational rookie. The Texans have found their franchise quarterback.
First one,
I was speechless, bro.
Matt Sharp.
No, Deshaun Watson. Because that Deshaun Watson was way better than this Deshaun. Like, this ain't the same Deshaun.
Super, you could see it.
Yeah. But I just wanted to mention C.J. Stroud, and the Bengals play the Texans this week. Which would be a
Bengals minus 14.5. Man, my man Stroud gonna be so, and then Bengals gonna bring his ass right back down, man.
And that's another thing. He's been playing really, really well. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been playing phenomenal, right? But the week before they played the Panthers, and I think he had like 165 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So like crazy game last week, but it's against Peach's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are about to plummet. They're also going to lose to the Titans next week, too. I'm throwing out these picks. Make sure y'all paying attention. Titans are going to beat the Bucs next week.
Dropping Easter eggs.
Last thing, bro. I'm going to make this quick, but Joshua Dobbs, man, they call him the Pastronaut, bro. He apparently works for NASA part-time. He's a smart guy. He's like a part-time rocket scientist, bro, like a genius.
That's crazy.
But plays football as well, like loves the game and really good quarterback, as we're seeing. They're calling him the Pastronaut, bro. Signs with Minnesota on Wednesday. Doesn't expect to play. Comes into the game. Literally trying to take snaps to get familiar with the center on the sideline while the defense is on the field. Comes in, bro. Wills his team to a win. Minnesota loves him. I seen somebody say me. So have you seen Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, I have.
Minnesota fans are cutting their eyebrows.
I love the loyalty, man.
They love him, bro. They love him, bro. And that city is gonna, they're gonna be all in on Joshua Dobbs.
I'm a Kurt fan. But I hope Joshua Dobbs finds a place to stick. I want him to get out.
He's good.
Like Geno Smith.
I think he will, bro. I think he'll definitely be in this league. He's not going nowhere, right? Like you get some guys that have the spark, and they're backup quarterbacks for a while, and then it's like, wow, what happened to Carson Wentz just got signed today by the Rams, but he's becoming. If he don't work out with the Rams, I think it's done. But I think Joshua Dobbs will be around this league.
Better than the fucking rookie quarterback that they got. Turn this shit off because I'm gonna curse this man.